Why is Europe's so-called last dictator, Alexander Lukashenko, so afraid of a 26-year-old blogger? We asked Roman Pratashevich's parents, Dmitry and Natalia, now living in exile in Poland.
О том, что Рома может подать на телеграм-каналы, может осветить, и он освещал все события, которые происходят в стране, эти ужасы, которые происходят в стране, про эти избиения, про эти преследования людей. Поэтому это человек, который просто боится свободы, боится демократии. Поэтому он и стал его личным врагом, можно так назвать.
After last year's elections widely considered rigged, Lukashenko began his sixth term as president. Thousands took to the street in opposition, a country electrified by the prospect of change. 3 women emerged as the conductors, including Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, all either imprisoned or in exile. But behind them an army of activists, journalists and bloggers.
Живе Belarus!
The regime started arresting them during live broadcasts. Young journalists put in cages, literally. Just last week, the scene in one opposition newsroom. Tech-savvy millennials reclaiming the white, red and white flag as a symbol of resistance. Like 26-year-old Roman Pratasevich, leading the charge with nothing but a laptop and a live stream.
Пока все-таки все готовятся к полноценному возрождению белорусской весны, совсем не обязательно делать какие-то смелые и рискованные шаги. Скорее наоборот, сейчас важна максимальная мобилизация, максимальная подготовка и максимально не попадаться все-таки.
He did get caught on Sunday in the most audacious of ways. The regime had warned they were coming after activists based abroad, but no one expected this, not least his parents. His father was in the Belarusian military, fled to Poland after a purge of officers whose children were activists.
Очень переживаем за сына. Очень переживаем, что с ним происходит и в каком он сейчас состоянии. Жив ли он вообще и где он, мы не знаем ничего пока.
Конечно.
Да,
мы считаем нашего сына настоящим героем. Он сделал очень много, я уверен, он сделает еще больше. Даже находясь там, за решетками, неизвестно сейчас пока где, надеюсь, мы скоро узнаем, даже там он продолжает оставаться героем.
According to his family, Roman is softly spoken, pragmatic. He helped start the opposition news channel Nechta, then moved to Belamova, a mix of animation and polemic. For some, the young man is an unlikely lightning rod for renewed international attention on the regime, but not for his parents and their message to Lukashenko.
Освободите место, уйдите просто, пожалуйста. Неужели вы думаете, что без вас страна не справится? Неужели вы думаете, что рухнет Беларусь? Ведь мы же умная, красивая, смелая нация.
There are reports tonight that the young man is in hospital with a heart condition. His parents told us he had problems with his heart in the past, but didn't know whether he was in hospital or not. One of the big questions now, the extent to which this 26-year-old will become a symbol, and what effect that will have on the streets of Belarus.
Well, earlier I spoke to the Belarusian opposition leader Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, who herself lives in exile. Her husband Sergei has been in prison for over a year after he announced he'd run for president. I began by asking her what she knew about what had happened to Roman Pratasevich.
As a matter of fact, we don't really have a lot of information about him. We still don't know where he is. His lawyer didn't get any information and doesn't have any access to him. But we are almost sure that Roman in danger and he's maybe being tortured at this very moment, because our KGB forces are really cruel towards those who are telling the truth about the situation in Belarus.
He's a 26-year-old blogger. What does Alexander Lukashenko have to fear from him?
Lukashenko is afraid of truth. Lukashenko uses all the violent leverages to jail all the people who dare to open their mouth, just tell about the situation worldwide.
Do you worry that Lukashenko may be winning because opposition activists such as yourself are in exile?
People don't accept him as legitimate president. He failed in the eyes of Belarusian people. And he could stay as first president of Belarus, but he preferred to stay criminal in the eyes of Belarusian people. So he has already lost, and now he uses all, the possible, guns, violence to keep his power, but not, he is not the president of Belarus anymore, and the regime will fail sooner or later. And the question is how many victims he's going to have because of his desire to keep these powers.
So what do you want the EU to do now to take action?
I want democratic countries to see that escalation of repressions, and this case with flight, is the result of impunity of the regime. European and democratic countries should impose the strongest sanctions towards people who are involved in atrocities, should impose very smart and targeted sanctions to state organizations that are wallets of Lukashenko. We have to heighten the price of violence for the regime.
And just finally, are you fearful for your own safety? Will you think twice before taking a flight that goes over Belarusian airspace?
Look, I'm doing what I have to do, and I will not hesitate to take any flight because, this is my fate. And if my destiny to be kidnapped and jailed, so I could say that I did everything I could.
Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, thank you very much.